Hello, this is Mad Cat, and welcome to another edition of Boobs and Dicks Smash the Matriarchy. Not the patriarchy, there is no patriarchy. We smash the matriarchy on this show. And I am Dicks, and today I am also Boobs. I have Tom Cruise between a set of boobs. I'm sure that's never happened before, but I'm bummed. All right, all kidding aside. Yes, I was using 2 liters. Anywho, Modern Medusa will not be joining us today. She was all set to do this show today, even though supposed to do it yesterday, but she got called in to work. Internet went down. It was an outage, not her fault. So I ask you to join me in prayer to the internet gods. Oh, internet gods, we beseech upon you. Please show us the boobs. It was worth a try. So I'm going to do the show alone today. I haven't done that in a while. So I guess it'll just be Mad Cat Smash! The matriarchy. Or smash feminism. That's what it was. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the articles. U of T students demand apology from professor over transphobic comments. That was disturbing. Psychology professor Jordan Peters refuses to honor non-binary students' requests for gender-neutral pronouns. Yeah, do that too. Students are demanding the University of Toronto take action in face of transphobic comments made by psychology professor Jordan Peterson. This man's my new hero. In video lectures posted on YouTube, Peterson criticized Bill C-16, which would amend the Canadian Human Rights Act and Criminal Code to include protection for gender identity or expression. Yeah, that's bullshit. He also refuses to honor non-binary students' requests for gender-neutral pronouns, saying, I don't know what the options are if you're not a man or a woman. Dino Lorenzo, LGBTQ coordinator, I can't speak, with University of Toronto, Mississauga. How the fuck do you say that? Students' Union called Peterson's comments disturbing and accused the professor of trying to hide behind the shield of academic freedom. Oh, you mean the shit that you all do? You know, anytime you're like, oh, well, it's cultural appropriation. Then hide behind academic freedom or misrepresent every single thing you can and having idiotic studies all behind the banner of academic freedom, but you don't like it when someone uses it against you. How quaint. Tony, let's actually look at what Tony says. Tony, you will never find a more wretched hive of social justice warrior and feminism. I've heard that about Toronto. Continuing on. So, the student union, along with a number of other campus groups, has penned an open letter to administrators condemning Peterson's remark and demanding an apology. Although this is very much about him, it's also demanding accountability from the university. Really, you want accountability from the university, but you don't want accountability from yourselves. Huh. The The letter, also signed by representatives from LGBT Out, make up your damn mind about the fucking letters. Come on. Stop changing them around. Pick something and go with it. And the Black Liberation Collective. Oh, great. What does the Black Liberation Collective have with gender? This is a race. This isn't a race issue. Calls for the full retraction of Peterson's comments and the removal of his lectures from YouTube. Okay. If it was on the university's YouTube page, okay, maybe they might have something that they could protest. But if it was on Peterson's own YouTube page, the university can't do shit about that. Maybe they could fire Peterson if he refuses to take them down, but it's not like you can go to YouTube and demand it. And if you really, really, really want it down, just file the false DMCAs that you always do. Claim that it's copyright or claim that it's harassment. Whatever you kids do these days. It also demands that the university defend students against future prejudiced comments from tenured professors. Lorenko said U of T's own policy supports an environment free of discrimination and harassment. Aren't you harassing this professor as we speak? I mean, you're writing a letter, you're making demands, you're demanding an apology, you're wanting videos taken down, and you're calling out this professor. By your own definition, that's harassment. They actually made a commitment. We just need them to follow through with it at this point. University of Toronto spokesperson Elizabeth Church said that the university has received the letter and is considering it. Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're like, how best can we implement this and give them exactly what they want? Instead of, you know what, Peterson is a professor. He's free to do what he wants, you know, and these rules are bullshit. That's what they should be saying. They're not going to say that, but Peterson told Metro that he has no plans to either apologize or retract his statement. Yeah, woo, yeah. Okay, let's start a GoFundMe to buy this man like an endless supply of beer. This whole letter is just basic ideological boilerplate. It's exactly what you would expect, he said after speaking at a campus rally Tuesday. The rally organized by Peter's supporters became tense at times as other students challenged his views and each other. At one point, a fire alarm went off, causing students to spill out into the steps of Sidney Smith Hall on the downtown campus where the events was taking place. Wow, people are yawning at this. No big surprise there. Feminists not wanting to hear the opposite side pull the fire alarm. And you know, a really good point was made is how many feminist speaking events has had a fire alarm pulled by men's rights activists? None. And yet feminists will do this kind of shit. And of course, if they were really serious about it, the police would be dusting the fingerprints on the fucking fire alarm to figure out who actually pulled it. And I bet they're dumb enough to not wear a glove when they did it. But no one's going to get arrested for that. No one's going to be held responsible for that. And that's a crime. So anyways, there's actually some follow-up to this. This came across my desk just a little bit before the show started. And now the faculty is in full revolt. So this shit got real. University of Toronto faculty signed a letter criticizing hate speech against their transgendered black students transgendered, and black students in light of fellow professors' refusal to use genderless pronouns. Approximately 250 faculty members endorsed the letter, implying that Peterson's statements are leading to a rise in threats against some of the students. Really? Because Peterson doesn't want to use genderless pronouns. Students are being threatened. How does one relate to the other? Unless, of course, it's the feminists and the LGBTQ EIEIO and the Black Lives Matter threatening anyone who supports Peterson. Not that any of those three groups would be held responsible for their actions. If they're going to pull the fire alarm, the least they could do is set themselves on fire. Yes, that right there. Tony, just keep these zingers coming. I love them. All right, back to the story. All right, so okay then. For some reason, my Skype on my other computer wants to turn itself on and off. We trust that these impacts on students and others were not your intention in making these remarks, the letter states. However, in the view of these impacts, as well as requirements of the Ontario, Human Rights Code, we urge you to stop repeating these statements. Again, how is students being impacted by this? Unless they're claiming, his comments hurt me. His words are far deeper than any knife could stab me. Unless you're including that, which is complete bullshit, his remarks, his words are not hurting anyone. Anyone who's a victim of this is just saying they are a victim to try to get him to change his mind, to get him to retract his words. And you people are falling for it. You're the staff at the University of Toronto, and you're so easily swayed because some girl cries. Oh, big mean professor hurt girls' feelings. Deborah Cohen, a geography professor, said she signed the letter because some of her transgendered students stopped attending class because they did not feel safe. Oh, God forbid. God, oh my fucking God, grow the fuck up. You know what? I go by the name Mad Cat, as on this channel. And a lot of people in the community know me as this, except on Facebook, where I actually do use my real name for other reasons, but I still prefer people to call me Mad Cat. However, while I prefer it and not really like my whole name, I'm not offended that people don't call me Mad Cat. Because I don't know, I wear big boy pants and can think for myself and I'm not salted on the drop of a hat. So what? Someone doesn't call me Mad Cat. That doesn't make me feel any more or less safe. I don't like when people use my full first name, which is Christopher. I fucking hate that name. But you know what? If someone calls me it, I'm not going to feel threatened. I'm not going to feel like I can't go to a class. I'm not going to feel like I can't leave my own house. This is idiotic. You need to fail that student for being so fucking stupid. Seriously. This is the leader of the free world tomorrow. They want to be trans? Have more power to them. I will even call them by the gender they want to be called. I will do that because I have trans friends and I respect them in that respect. But I will not be forced to censor myself just to protect someone else's feelings. Now, if a friend comes to me and says, hey, I prefer to do this, if they show me respect, I show them respect, and I may do it, and I may not. But I'm not going to be coerced into saying I have to use gender-neutral pronouns so someone who's transgendered could feel better about themselves. Guess what? You're a transgender person. That means you are transitioning from one gender to the other. That means that one of the two gender pronouns is appropriate for you. There's no third gender. There is no genderless. You are either male or female. That is what being transgender means. Transitioning from one gender to the other. This isn't rocket science. This isn't even rock science since we're talking geology. This is basic logic. And yet you want to be treated special, and when you're not, you cry like a little bitch. Who cares about DivX? Okay, so let's look at some. Calm down, men. Calm down. It doesn't sound good, especially when it's a man, because it sounds threatening. Or the boobs. There are no boobs today. These social justice warriors are more thin-skinned than an uncircumcised penis. Black Knight Fool channel your frustration, anger through our women's voices. Allison channels my anger for me. All right. These events have made the campus feel unsafe and unwelcoming for some of the most creative and important members of our community. Well, you know what? Don't ever come to Pennsylvania, because I'm going to refuse to use genderless pronouns because you demand it. And now Pennsylvania is an unsafe place for your students. Psychology professor Jordan Peterson, we actually discussed that already. Peterson also refused to use gender-neutral pronouns if asked by students. The letter told Peterson that he must start using genderless pronouns if asked, and that he needs to stop commenting publicly on the topic. So you see what they're doing here. They're policing his language and censoring him. He's not allowed to have an opinion on it at all. Now, Canada doesn't really have a First Amendment, a freedom of speech, but they kind of have something similar. And I kind of consider Canada and the US more or less on the same battlefront here. So that's why, you know, I take this a lot more personally. I also kind of consider Australia as well. But, I mean, they're taking away his free speech and saying that, well, you can have free speech so long as no one's offended. People are going to be offended. You know what? Modern Medusa, I don't call her Modern Medusa. I call her Vanessa. In fact, that's not even her first name. I know her first name. I'll let her tell you what her first name is. But you know what? I may one day stop calling her that. I have the right to do that. It's free speech. She also has the right to stop talking to me when I start doing that. That's her freedom of speech, the lack thereof. Now, she might ask me, hey, you know, please stop calling that, or well, I don't care what you call me. You know, that's her choice. But in no way can she coerce me. I mean, she is beautiful, so I guess she could coerce me. But she can't legally coerce me to do one thing or another. God, just how much we hand over to these morons. Let's see. At least Pennsylvania still has Hershey. Well, you know, I live in Harleysville, which has nothing to do with the motorcycle, but I hear motorcycles all the time. So Got a niece named Vanessa. No kidding. She could coerce me to Black Knight Fool. Oh, NC Clark. My real name is... I cannot pronounce NC Clark's first name. She has told me 1,000 times, and I still can't do it. Velveeta. I'll call her Velveeta. Don't call me that. You might injure your tongue in the process. Yes, only NC Clark is protected from me calling her by her first real name, only because I can't actually do it. Your statements that you will refuse to refer to transgendered person using gender-neutral pronouns if they ask you to do so are contrary to the rights of those persons to equal treatment without discrimination based on their gender identity and gender expression. No, it's not. It is not. Once again, being transgendered means a transition from one gender to the other. Never at the point of the transgendering process are you neither gender. If anything, you're both genders at the same time, maybe, I don't know. But you're at least one gender or the other. And being required to use genderless pronouns is bullshit. And has nothing to do with their gender identity. Because there are two fucking genders, male and female. And I know a lot of social justice warriors are going to be like, you don't know, you're an insensitive siscum, blah, blah, blah. It's fucking biology. You got a penis, you got a vagina. You stick one in the other and babies are made. Where do the other genders fit into that? Except in your mind, you crazy bitches. I have no problem recognizing transgendered individuals, and I will call them by the gender they prefer. But if you demand that I call you something other than male or female, well, you're shit out of luck. I'm not going to do that. When asked about the recent threats, Peterson said he irreversibly condemns them, but would not take back his criticisms. But it doesn't surprise me because it is the fact that such things are happening that was the motivation for me to make the damn videos to begin with. Seriously, we need to buy this man beer. I mean, he's Canadian, so of course he likes beer. So we just need to create a Kickstarter, a Patreon to buy this man like an endless supply of beer, because you know what? He's willing to put his money where his mouth is. He's willing to talk about this and deal with the consequences. He's my fucking hero. We don't have enough heroes in this world anymore, and he's one of them. Okay, let's check out the chat. Sure, when Modern Medusa's not here, we have an active chat. Is your homie Missy J here too, NC? Black Nightfall. Remember, feminists want to frame men as being enraged. So you're falling into the stereotype they're trying to pin on us. Well, Black Nightfall, I am the angry egalitarian. I'm not the passive-aggressive egalitarian. I'm not the trying to be calm so I don't let feminism win egalitarian. I'm the angry egalitarian. So it's kind of my shtick. I gotta give the anger. Your anger is justified, but you have to be careful how you channel it. Are you afraid he will turn to the dark side, Black Knight Fool? I feel like there's a pun somewhere in there. Missy is fingering fruit. I always felt she was fingering vegetables. She's more of a vegetable kind of gal, not really a fruit. Yeah, you know, I've offered to officiate NC and Missy J's wedding when they finally decide to get married. We just need to keep a good reputation if we want to be taken seriously eventually. You know what? This is my opportunity to vent. I don't get to do that in my life, so, you know, I don't know if you're being serious or not, Black Knight Fool, but you know what? Sometimes you just need to yell. This is my therapy. And if I could afford therapy, I'd go to therapy. But you know what? You people get to be my therapist. Boy, am I going to get fucked up. NC Clark, Black Knight Fool. Oh, hello to all of them. You're serious. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, Black Knight Fool, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to yell. And you know what? My channel's not that popular to begin with, so I really don't care. Now, if I started getting like 5,000 subscribers, maybe I would change, but then probably they're following because I am getting angry. So, you know, sorry, I'm not going to do it. In fact, I'm not even really that sorry. I mean, no disrespect to you, but I'm the angry egalitarian, and I've been doing that for over 2 years, so. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Now, this next one, well, I guess if you consider South Africa to be the first world, this is an important issue. But I think it's kind of like something that we're going to be seeing down the line. So let's go ahead and talk about it now. Leftist students say that science is racist and should be abolished. Students at the University of Cape Town in South Africa brought some interesting concerns before the science facility this week. Namely, they think science is as it's currently understood, must be abolished. The whole thing should be scratched off, especially in Africa, said one of the students. The students are apparently known as fallists or phallists. Their hashtag is, science must fall. Okay, fallist then. You can watch them make their case during the meeting here, which we won't watch. Essentially, these students believe that modern scientific understanding is Eurocentric. One explained, I have a question from all the science people. There is this place in KZN called something I couldn't pronounce if a gun was held to my head. They believe that through the magic you call black magic, they call witchcraft, you are able to send lightning to strike someone. Can you explain that scientifically, because it's something that happens? Yeah, if you understood science, you can't just make something up off the top of your head and claim that it's real. In science, you actually have to give a demonstration of it and for it to be able to be analyzed. But, I mean, given this whole listen and believe mantra that feminism is trying to push, I guess science is just going to be another thing that falls under the listen and believe. We don't need scientific endeavors at all. No, if we say something happens, then it happens, and you just have to believe it. So while someone can strike someone with lightning with their hands, you just have to accept it because we said it happened. And if you don't, you're racist. Many people laughed at this remark. Yeah, I'd laugh too. Ha 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 ha. Well, witchcraft is not something that happens, but according to the student, witchcraft is like Isaac Newton's theory of gravity. It's just one way of explaining the world among many. Well, yes, Isaac Newton's theory of gravity is a way of explaining the world among many. That statement is true. Witchcraft is not. It doesn't explain the world in a scientific way. I mean, I guess that's kind of their point, but in order for witchcraft to make sense, you have to just accept that it is real. And I've looked into Wiccan when I was trying to decide, when I stopped believing in God and I was trying to find my way. And I looked at Wiccan and I was like really disappointed by it, and it was like, all of this is built on the foundation of you must believe it in order for it to be true. And that's the problem with all of this, is a lot of this, you just have to believe that it's true. At least with a theory of gravity, there's tests you can do to demonstrate that gravity happens, that anything within science happens, and you can demonstrate it. You can create predictive models. That's what a theory is a predictive model. But if witchcraft is real, then strike me with lightning now. Well, I'm sure it takes a little bit of time to travel from Africa to Pennsylvania, so I'll let you know if I do get struck by lightning. Decolonizing the science would mean doing away with it entirely and starting over again to deal with how we respond to the environment and how we understand it. It doesn't, I'm thinking about Karen Straughn's video that she did of Gigi and her man, who I really feel sorry for. He's an abuse victim, much like Steve Shives, but at least this guy has hope for him. But, she was saying, oh, well, math is sexist. Why is math sexist? Because men wrote it. Well, yeah, but math is the expression of reality. But it's sexist because men were the ones who wrote it down. Who fucking cares who wrote it down? It's something that can be demonstrated. It's something that we can do time and time again. 2 + 2 doesn't equal patriarchy. Okay, let's look at some comments. I saw a video where a guy was stroking penis-shaped vegetables in response to fingering fruit video. Okay, I need to find this video. Warped Reflection, good to see you. Science equals white penis. Oh, sure, that's okay, Black Knight Fool, but me yelling, that's horrible. Sorry. Bad joke. Okay, they want to take Dark Africa back to the Dark Ages. They probably saw the Inquisition as the best time in European history. Warped Reflection. It was reassuring the other students were laughing. You successfully make your disbelief roll. So yeah, there's not very much to this story, but it's what scares me is that while this is in South Africa, this could eventually come to the United States, could come to Europe, could come to Canada or Australia or France. And this scares me because there are going to be people who are going to believe this, especially being in America. I mean, I have a smartphone. It was given to me as a birthday gift, but it's science. Everything we understand about science, every achievement we have has come to the point of giving me something to watch porn with. Actually, I used it to play Candy Crush. Not really porn, but still. And we want to turn our back on it because we can make a case that it's racist? No. I mean, what about all the accomplishments that Black people have done? Does anyone think about that? I mean, I believe the first heart transplant was done by a Black man. I believe that plasma was discovered by a Black man. Should we also dismiss that as well? Because they weren't actually Africans. They were American and European or whatever Black people. I mean, where do you draw the line here? Why is all science inherently bad because of where it was discovered? Oh, because it doesn't reflect your religious viewpoints. You're no different than creationists. At least creationists have the Bible. What do you have? Sorry, I shouldn't do that. It's all equally useless. But, at least Christians I can respect. Most of them I respect. Because most of them acknowledge science. They acknowledge that not everything in the Bible really adds up. There are some like diehards out there, like the creationists, that want to believe the Earth is 6,000 years old. They're the flat Earth people. And yeah, they're all equally useless. But most Christians I respect. I'm hoping that these are just a minority of people who believe in witchcraft and actually acknowledge science itself. I don't know. Let's take a look at some more comments before our last story today. Role-playing game reference. Yeah, I kind of got that it was a role-playing game reference. I didn't really react to it, but yeah, I was thinking that as I moved to the article. The crowning achievement of science, readily available porn. Well, you know, when, oh God, what was his name? I believe it was Copernicus, or no, it was Galileo. When Galileo first made his telescope, he didn't use it to look at the night sky. He used it to look at the bathhouses across the way to watch the naked girls bathing. It was the first instant of technology being used for porn. Okay, so our last video today. I really try not to get into the politics on my videos. I mean, I do reference them, but I don't do articles specifically about this. But this was just too hard to pass up. Male athletes at U.S. high school set the record straight on locker room talk and viral video. Okay, why is there a girl in the men's locker room? Oh, I guess maybe she's actually a transgendered, so she's allowed. Wild feminist. Anyone else thinking of like Bill and Ted, Wild Stallions? Okay, well, that was cool, so. And is he trying to show that he has tits and they just hang really low and his tits hang really high? I mean, yes, we get it. It says wild feminist. You don't need to pronounce that. We can see it without you, rearranging your shirt. A group of young men from high school in the U.S., you can't say where, have hit back at Donald Trump's locker room talk justification, posing a powerful photo. The Centennial High School in Oregon shared a picture to Facebook this week of the 6 athletes standing in a locker room wearing shirts embolized with the words "wild feminist." The photo is in response to Republican presidential candidate insisting that lewd comments he made in 2005 were nothing more than locker room talk. Well, you know what? Maybe it was locker room talk. Maybe not. But, the Clinton campaign, and they were behind it, or at least the DNC, sat on this for a long time until the debates came up, and that's when they released it. So, the same with all of these 10 women that have come forward to claim that Donald Trump raped them or sexually harassed them weeks before the actual election. That's just dirty right there. I mean, maybe he's guilty, maybe he's not. I don't know. But, if all of this shit was serious, people would have gone to the police long ago. The audio tape in which Donald Trump brags about his own sexually aggressive behavior towards women was recorded during filming of an episode of Access Hollywood and has been filed away until it was uncovered by a Washington Post and NBC News earlier this month. Yeah, it was uncovered. I'm betting that Hollywood Access is owned by NBC. And probably also owns Washington Post. I mean, did the reporters from Washington Post and NBC, it's like, hey, let's sneak into Access Hollywood and see if they have anything on Trump. They uncovered it. My Lord. I'm very embarrassed by it. I hate it, but it's locker room talk, Mr. Trump later said in a statement. But it seems this particular group of high school athletes want to set the record straight, writing sexual assault is not locker room banter. Okay. The post has been shared more than 12,000 times since Monday. Ryers Atkinson, pictured far left. Yeah, he probably is far left. Bad pun. He wanted to raise awareness about equal rights. I wanted to let people in the world know that there needs to be gender equality. Oh, I agree. But you know what? There is gender equality because while men and boys do talk like this in the locker room, and they do, so do girls. I have so many friends that have told me how horrible it is in like the locker room, in any gathering where women are isolated and it's just women. They are so much worse than men. But again, in this world, we believe that women are just automatically innocent and they don't do anything bad ever at all. No matter what gender you are, you deserve to be paid the same, treated the same. What the fuck does this have to do with the wage gap? This was a sexual comment made by Trump, and now we're putting the wage gap into this? Men and women are paid equally. This has been debunked many, many times. The whole wage gap, earnings gap, what have you, it's been debunked. We need to get these boys some education. Everyone deserves to be respected. Well, I kind of feel like respect is earned. So, I'm not going to respect you unless you earn my respect. And if you disrespect me first, then of course I'm going to disrespect you. So, no, not everyone deserves to be respected. Only those who try to earn my respect will earn my respect. And none of you have earned my respect, by the way. You're just pussy-whipped boys who's trying to score favors with women. It's not about women's rights. It's about gender equality. It's just not fair that men are superior over every other gender. Whoa, right there. You just said men are superior than women. You're not a feminist. You're a white knight, but you're not a feminist because the feminists feel that women are superior to men. And you just made a sexist remark. Men and women are not superior over each other. They complement each other in many ways. Now, yes, men are better at some things than women, and women are better at some things than men. Sudoku, for instance. But no, this is, you just made a sexist remark saying that men are superior than every other gender. You better hope feminists didn't hear you say that because they'll fucking skin you alive. Say goodbye to your penis forever because it's never having sex again. Mr. Atkinson said that he was inspired to speak out because he wanted to make sure people understood that what Mr. Trump said about how men talk in a locker room is completely false. No, it's not. Now, not everyone in the locker room talks like this, but this talk happens. And it's okay. It's not like people are saying, hey, I'm going to go rape a girl because that's illegal. But they do talk themselves up. Women do it too. It just happens. It's not that they're criminals for doing it. It's not that they disrespect women. It's just when they're around the guys, they talk a good game. That happens. Again, girls do it too. I'm sure I could get a panel of women to talk about what happens when women are isolated from men and how they talk. And we'd probably find the exact same kind of banter, if not worse. We don't talk sexually or anything. Bullshit. Mostly it's about how we're going to win the game. Bullshit. That is fucking bullshit. When your coach is in there saying, hey, we need to do this, this, and this, that's fine. But you're not going to sit there naked and be like, you know what? We really need to increase our offense this year. No. You're going to talk with guys. You're going to talk about the dances. You're going to talk about doing drugs. You're going to talk about having sex. You're going to talk about having to go to church. You're going to talk about a whole lot of things. But don't bullshit a bullshitter. Don't tell me you're sitting there talking about the game and not talking about sex. Bull fucking shit. A number of high-profile athletes were quick to dispute Mr. Trump's locker room talk comments, and since this post has gone viral, others have come on board the campaign, sharing similar photos to social media. I don't really know who these people are, so, whatever. Well, let's check out the comments. Okay, so they're obviously the gay athletes because no fucking straight jock would be a feminist. Well, actually, I kind of think a straight jock would be because he would be a white knight. Since feminism is controlling everything, he wants to score favor with the feminists. So, but yeah, they're still talking about sex in the locker room. We're supposed to take their word for it. They wear a shirt that says wild feminist. What the fuck is a wild feminist? People get beaten up for that. Not that I support that behavior. Of course, listen and believe. Everyone should just listen and believe. NC Clark, I love you so much. Yeah, it's normal for all your victims to wait more than 10 years to come forward. Yeah. Hillary is the Borg queen of the mainstream media. Alt, left, delete. Oh, I wish it was that simple. NC Clark, trying to post a meme on Twitter, and it's not working. Yeah, I tried to post this on Twitter, and, according to a website, it was down for like 30 minutes right before I opened this up. So I guess it's been down for over an hour now. Reason and logic is oppressive. Mansplaining. Yes, I am mansplaining you all. I just draw wings on the numbers. Mo Sizlak on The Simpsons. Okay, so I love how it does this thing here. All the little screens. Smaller, smaller, smaller. Yeah, education's really going to shit in a handbasket. I mean, we recently got an article that Australia is now teaching boys not to rape. That they're white, so they're the enemy of every other race, and they're male, so they're the enemy of all the genders. And, I was thinking about my own childhood, and I'm sure many of you would say that I'm a pretty smart guy, or at least I sound smart. But, growing up, I believed I was stupid because my stepfather and my mother didn't exactly correct him, always called me an idiot, always said I was stupid. I was also in special ed, and my brother wasn't, and my family never was. So, because I kept being told I was stupid all the time, I believed it. And I think that may have stunted my development. I mean, once I failed 6th grade, which my parents held me back, the world just opened up to me and I started to understand things. I then skipped 7th grade, so, figure that one out. But if you tell a child something long enough, they're going to start believing it. And if you start telling boys white boys that you are rapists and racist rapists, they're going to believe it. And sooner or later, they're going to start acting on it. I let myself believe I was stupid for so long, I just accepted it. I allowed myself to believe I was stupid. I was horrible at what my stepfather did, and I eventually overcame it when I began to realize, but it took me until the 12th grade. It took me until I was about to graduate to finally realize I'm not an idiot. I mean, that was like 18 years of abuse I suffered in believing that I was so stupid. And this is what we're seeing now. These students are being allowed to believe whatever they want and demanding that professors make special accommodations. Look, you want to be called Shearer or Fur or whatever, have at it. You and your friends can have a special little language that you use amongst yourself. Don't expect me to use it. I'm not going to use it. That's stupid. And I have the freedom of speech to say it's stupid. And you have the freedom of speech not to talk to me. Everyone wins. And of course, because we humor these people and they're getting more traction for whatever they want the entire system to be designed around them, more so than it already is. And now we're having students trying to defend feminism and trying to say, well, we never do that. Bullshit, you don't do that. You do. Teach men not to commit suicide. Pygmalion effect? I'll have to look that up. I'm sure it's probably referring to what I went through. But yeah, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing that the alt-left elite, I love that, by the way. We're seeing the alt-left just keep drilling into people's head that you're the problem, and they're now embodying it. They now believe they're the problem. And while one half is going to say, well, we're the problem and we should do everything we can to fix it, the other half is going to be like, if I'm going to be treated like a rapist, I might as well be a rapist. Because let me tell you, most of this population is not a rapist. Most of the population in the U.S., in the first world, is not racist. But if you keep telling people they're going to believe they are, and they're going to start doing these things. And you're going to finally create the rape culture that you've always claimed there is. Anyways, hopefully we will get Vanessa back, Modern Medusa, for our next show. Hopefully the internet gods will answer my prayers of giving me boobs. Although I did challenge witches in Africa to strike me with lightning. Hopefully that doesn't cancel each other out. I mean, I'm willing to get struck by lightning if it means boobs. Warped reflection. Maybe war with Russia isn't such a bad thing. You could use these people as cannon fodder. Kind of reminds me of Invader Zim, like the one creature's like, oh, well, you get to fire the first cannon, and then ends up putting him in a cannon and shooting him off. Kind of probably what we should do with these people is put them in cannons and launch them at the enemy. At least then they'll have a use. All right, so that's going to do it for me today. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Tony, NC Clark, Warped Reflection, Black Knight Fool. I mean, you're still welcome to come back. I'm not going to change who I am, and I know that anger doesn't solve anything, but you know what? Still going to do it. So, Sideshow Bob. What does Sideshow Bob have to do with anything? Best character ever, by the way. I love Kelsey Grammer. He has such a great voice. But yeah, Sideshow Bob is my favorite character on The Simpsons. Anyways, I did have a Quora article, but I switched it out last minute, so I'll update this. But you can get the articles down here if you want to look at these further, blast them on social media. Be sure to like my video. Tell me what a good job that I've done, or dislike my video if you just want to be dicks. I mean, I'm a dick. So like, hate, whatever. Share my video, though. That's the most important thing. Show other people how good or bad I am. Also, check me out on Twitter, ggmad_cat, when Twitter starts working again. Or maybe Twitter's going to be gone forever. That'd be kind of sad. I actually do still like Twitter, despite all the social justice warrior nonsense. If you do like my videos and you kind of want to leave me a tip, consider donating to my Patreon. I am trying to raise money for medical costs to try to treat my disability. Not that there's much that can be done, but, you know, well, it's hard when you can't work. I'm also trying to save up for a computer made in this decade. I figure if I can get a better computer, I can do better quality videos and really try to earn, you know, more money to try to get myself treated. However, if you're not comfortable with doing Patreon, perfectly understandable. Check out my book. It deals with vampires. It deals with 5 male characters. There are no strong female characters in this story. Or at least in these 2 specific books. I mean, there will be in the future. I'm not like misogynist, like, no females allowed in my story. But in these particular books, it is just about 5 males trying to fight vampires in the 14th century. First book is free to download. Read it, like it. If you like it, you know, consider giving me a review because those really help. And if you really like it, consider buying the next book. Or if you just want to support me, buy the book anyways, because that also helps me. Anyways, that's going to do it for me today. Lightning missed you. Hit Twitter instead. That's awesome. Thank you, everyone. This is Mad Cat signing out.